If a phone call comes in, you're just going to pop it on hold. Okay.
You're actually seeing what happens during the commercial breaks.
Here we go.
And we're rocking. We're back. You're listening to Q&A Presents Maui Online. Thanks to our sponsors, Q&A Inc., Inter-Island Software and Computers, H-New Energy, Harbor Communications, and Val the Phone Gal. Our number here in the studio, 242-7800. Statewide, it is a toll-free call at 1-866-982-7800. Call now if you've got a tech problem. We'd love to hear from you.
And first person who calls gets a T-shirt.
Yes,
the
they
first
do.
who calls is a T-shirt. With a question about anything.
We have now added
another
third
voice.
person to our lineup here today, actually not counting the host. Our call screener, we've drug him into the studio for this particular segment for a very special reason.
Yeah, people who listen to us a lot know that Sam screens the calls, makes sure that we know what's going on, does pithy comments on the typewriter.
Inter-studio communicator.
Yes, as it is. But
I believe the technical term is stage manager.
There we go. But we need to get him in because he was first-hand witness of a very sad passing. Because City of Heroes, a long-time game, closed its doors yesterday.
Yep. It's a long story, some of which has got some ups, some of it's got some downs, and it's kind of hard to know where to start. But I think it's relevant because there's so many people now who, one way or another, they're playing either online games or they're on online services like Facebook. And just you've got these virtual online communities where people get together, they get to know each other, and then something happens. Either, for instance, MySpace. What's that?
Yeah,
oh
MySpace
yeah,
went away.
I had one of those. It's still around, but it's not really relevant.
It evolved somewhere else.
Everyone left to Facebook. You know, Facebook could go away at one point, and then what happens to your friends list over there? I've got friends all across the country that I keep tabs with, and sometimes we'll get together and we'll play games. These are people that I've met either online or from real life. I got a friend of mine in New York who plays different games. I've got more than friends that I can count on two hands that play World of Warcraft, so on and so forth.
So yeah, the idea that these social zones and game zones, these MMOs, the massive multiplayer games, do sometimes eventually die. We had the one that was popular before was the one based on I can't believe Matrix Online, and that one went away to a great fanfare. And this one was actually still profitable and going away. So that's a little surprising too.
There's a lot of questions. Why did this happen? How come it happened? I've heard a lot of different explanations. And there's just so many questions that really aren't going to be answered to the players. But really, what happens, whether it's something it seems kind of dodgy or it's obvious that the game can't go on. Star Wars Galaxies, which Ben is familiar with, would be another example. The licensing, Lucas chose not to renew it. It was a very quiet game at that point. So, but
not so it was earlier on. Earlier on, Galaxies was hugely popular, and then they changed things and drove away a lot of their player base. So.
Right.
But anyway, but you were there yesterday. At least when they know the closing is going to happen in those lines, they made a big deal of it. So I guess
it's like a ceremonial type of deal.
Well, and the servers got packed. So
that happened. You had a lot of people who were coming there just to say their final goodbyes, get the last little bit. I mean, it was rather amazing.
Just so you know, this particular game is based on superheroes.
Yeah.
Yes, so lots of fun.
And the superheroes genre that it was. But it was popular. I mean, at its height, you had quite a few people playing it.
Yes, and actually,
thousands.
And it had actually grown. It shrunk down and had grown when they went free to play. Not about last year, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
But you had people coming in, logging on for the last time to say goodbye to their friends, and that's actually a lot of the people I was talking to. I play with a group from a site called RPG Net, and we were there, and we're just talking and spending time together, and we're still adventuring stuff, and you could be in the large social areas, and there are people still looking for groups to play through the content.
Last bit of content.
help me get this last badge, or I just want to do this again for old time's sake, or I never got to see that. Could someone please help me? And one of the things that makes City Heroes so great was always the community. When I first started playing in 2005, the community was very welcoming. The people were wonderful. It's very friendly to new players. It was very pick up and play, and there's actually a lot of features in there. Because you play Star Trek Online, just like I do. There's a lot of features you would see in there that were actually there first.
Sure. No, City of Heroes was the proving ground for a lot of different kinds of tech, and I think you make a good point as far as the community being so welcoming, things like that. I kind of was just thinking at that point the game would attract comic book geeks like myself. And we tend to be a friendly lot as a whole, so I think all things considered, that makes sense.
Well, on top of that, though, you're looking at the game was relatively family friendly. So I've played with husbands and wives and couples, and I played with families. And oh, look, the kid's on. Hey, kid, how you doing, kid? And there's just so much that was there, And some people would just go in there and they would make their characters, and they love the customization. Some people love to just hang out. Like I was one of the players that liked to hang out. You had people who would role play and act out their characters in the game. There's so many different things there, but to me, what it always got down to is the game was very friendly, it was very accessible, it was very forgiving of players. You didn't have to be one of these math wizards to figure out the optimal way to do this or do that. And there's a lot of room for personal expression and just being creative. And it was really actually very well known for just not having a lot of the sexism or homophobia or racism that people sometimes associate with online games.
Yeah, and actually they express, I don't know, and see the communities like that, the thing that brought the community together go away. You hope that you stay in contact. I mean, certainly I had some old friends on a very, very old game, Man of War 2, that I not only kept in touch with at first when the game was still around, but actually went traveling to the mainland and met met some of these people firsthand, which was very cool. But then now that the game was gone, you'd see drop an email every once in a while, but those ties sort of sever when the game goes away. I wonder if that will happen with the friends you've made on City of Heroes as well.
Some of them it will. I have to be honest with that, but at the same time, some of them we've actually exchanged email addresses. We've been in contact this whole time. We are friends on Facebook. If any of them come over here, it's like, oh, come over to Maui. Yeah. I'm hoping sometime, I'd want to go on the mainland sometime soon, just because I want to see some of these people. I want to spend time with them. And, it's fun, the interactions. Like one year, a gentleman who went by Skystreak, I got a Flat Stanley from his son. So we took Flat Stanley around and did the Flat Stanley thing. It was just great fun. Yeah. And we don't have that, but, it's just like anything else. It's like when the borders closed. All the regulars had to find a new, if they wanted to get to a new venue, and it wasn't the same because you're not, with things like this, like when borders closed, you weren't losing, it wasn't just a store.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a place. It was a social hub. It had its own communities.
Well, people are social animals.
And also
we die without it.
Well, and when Borders left, you were one of the people who was very upset.
I was going to mention that sometime during the conversation that Borders was a hangout. It was a social center for a lot of us on Maui, and a lot of us, when Borders went away, after all this time, we're still kind of sad, melancholy. Every time I pass that place, I get all fuzzy and tear up and all that kind of stuff.
Verklempt, as the word is.
Yeah.
So and I still miss seeing Christy and Jeffrey and King Paul and Chris Arnett and all those people, and I still try to keep in contact with them. And it's really the same thing here. You're, you don't see. It's not just you're missing your group. You're missing all the other groups you've seen. You miss the nice people. It's like, oh, this is my friend. Or you're seeing the groups get together and do things, the community events.
I wonder if there's going to be a City of Heroes reunion every year now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's entirely possible. A lot of the developers are already in the process, if they have not already found jobs, of looking for jobs. Like one of them, I cannot remember his full name, and it's a difficult Korean one, has actually gone on from California to North Carolina. He was lamenting he couldn't find Jamba Juice for a while. But some of them have gone on to NVIDIA, gone on to Cryptic Studios,
other game companies,
and many other companies. So we'll see what happens. And there's there are still people trying to see if they can find a buyer for the game. The kind of the Hail Mary right now is trying to get Disney.
Why
to buy
did it go away in the first place? Does anybody really know why they decided to shut it down?
No, it probably was profitable, but not as profitable as they wanted. I mean, that's I'm guessing is going to be the
It's
bottom line.
really hard to say, and there's a whole backstory there I don't know enough of. It's saying that any of these online communities, whether it's Facebook or an online game or
World of Warcraft
or a website, even a web forum. Like I said, the group I played with was with RPGNet. If something was to happen to RPGNet, you would have this entire community that would just get broken up immediately.
And it's amazing about the fact that these social communities that we create online have as much emotional impact as the communities that we live in every day.
Right. Absolutely.
And so about the fact that
why did Saturday night pop into my head for some reason?
I have no idea, but as it goes, those the feelings about it can be just as hard. So I'm sorry to see the City of Heroes go. I know it was a cool game. I got to see a lot of cool things on it. I was not a giant person on it, but I know a lot of people who were, and a lot of them were just piling on yesterday to say goodbye to it, which was kind of cool. But by the same token, hopefully the friendships made will last.
I think the friendships will. It's just like any other type of relationship that you chase after the people you really want sometimes, and at the same time, sometimes those people make it really easy to do so.
Okay, well, it's time for another break.
All right, God.
As a matter of fact, I think
Thanks,
this
Sam.
is our final break.
Thanks, Jonathan.
This is Q&A Presents Maui Online. Time for us to take our final break. This hour being brought to you by Q&A Inc., Maui's freelance technical support company, by H-New Energy, Maui's own award-winning renewable energy specialist, by Harmer Communications, Inter-Island Software and Computers at 250 Omaha Street, Kahului, and by Val the Phone Gal, serving Maui's communications needs since 1995. Don't go away. We'll be right back with our final set right here on Q&A Presents Maui Online.